Hello, yes, I'm back again. The situation is this. The situation is basically the situation is yeah, I went to someone's house the other day. Basically, right, I got one son, yeah, at the moment, yeah. My son's got more friends than me at the moment. And his friend was having a birthday party and the kids like the parents, they're from Hong Kong, they're Chinese. My son is mixed race. Obviously I'm black, Caribbean, so he's mixed, he's half black, he's mixed, half Middle Eastern. And all of his friends at school, some of them are Chinese and some of them are Indian. So anyway, we all went to I brought him along to one of his friends' birthday dues. And the topic of this video, I'm going to call it, I don't go out, now I'm socially awkward. Yeah. So basically, I'm finding that when I go out, I'm just feeling like, it's not me, I'm not awkward. I'm not an awkward person. I'm not a socially awkward person. But I think I tend to make people feel awkward. But because you get more hypersensitized when you don't go out and socialize. When you do socialize, you get more hypersensitized to everything. And so when I got there, basically, because I've told you many times, I live in very relatively small flat above the shops, and I live in quite well-to-do area. A lot of people here that bought their own houses, they got their own mortgages. So a lot of my kids' friends at school, the parents, they got nice houses, nice standard houses. And so when I got there, I was like, oh, the living room is really nice, really big, yeah. And then I was like, oh, the kitchen's even bigger as well, But it was just nice, stylish. It was modern, you know. But and then the dad, he was being really hospitable with me, which I really appreciated. He was like, oh, would you like to come in? I was like, yeah, I will a little bit. I will for 5 minutes. He's like, would you like a drink? I was like, thanks a lot. And I said, you know what, I decided to just stay there for like 15 minutes or so. Usually I would just like run out the door after like 2 minutes. But I thought, you know what, I'm just going to sit and make myself comfortable and just stay a little bit. So that's what I did. And, the dad, he was very hospitable, and they had on the countertop, like traditional cakes and pastries that they make in Hong Kong, and he was showing me them. Like they had these, they're like, when you get a pan of raisin, the buns, they're very soft, or croissant bread. It was very soft, almost like croissant bread, like that, pan of raisin bread. Really soft, but in a bun with the sausage in the middle. He says, yeah, this traditionally Hong Kong, yeah, what we eat. And then they called them pineapple cakes. He says this traditionally because there's no pineapple in there. But for some reason, we call them pineapple cakes. So they had those as well. The bread, really soft, but they look like muffins. And then they had this, it was like, this is not traditionally Hong Kong. Apparently, it's traditionally Scottish. These are crackers they're having a bowl, chopped pineapple mixed with soft cheese, and then mix it together like this. Looks like mayonnaise. And they put it as a spread on the cracker. I said, I don't know about this one because I'm not too keen on pineapple. And pineapple with cheese, to me, doesn't sound like the best combination. I says, but you know what? It's something different, so I'll just try some of it. So I tried some of it, and to be honest, it wasn't as bad as how it sounds, actually. It was alright. It was very sweet. It was okay, actually. It wasn't too bad. So I tried a bit of that. But the point, right, I'm getting to, I tried some of the cracker. I put some of the spread stuff, the pineapple and soft cheese spread stuff on the cracker, and I bit a bit into it, and then one tiny crumb, I had to drop down, right, and just in front of the countertop, they had like these boxes full of stuff. I don't know, it's just their own stuff what they had there. I don't know what it was, but it like one crumb dropped and dropped down into the thing, and then the dad saw it, and I was like, like this. I goes, oh, sorry, like this. And the dad, like, he was very friendly, very hospitable. He goes, oh, it's okay, no problem. He said like this, don't worry, like this. So I got really from there. I just got like a bit shy, like a bit embarrassed. Right, I was feeling embarrassed because, and then I just got like self conscious about, super self conscious. Yeah, because I was thinking, shall I put my shall I like take out the crumb from the thingy from the box, or should I just leave it? But because he goes, it's alright, no problem. Yeah, I said, you know what? I just leave it because if I go and take it out, I'm just gonna make myself look like even more stupid. Yeah, so I said, you know, I'll just leave it. And then so I went and sat down at the table, and then the whole time I'm sitting there at the table, and you know, it's just chatting, whatever. I just was thinking about this stupid crumb, yeah. And then basically, so then like I had some of the biscuits, yeah, and this pineapple cake muffin thing on my plate, and I'm like eating it like this, and then basically, then you know it crumbles, doesn't it? And I'm like, with me, I liked, you know, when I go to Costa Coffee, right, and the croissants, I really like the croissants there, but the way they all flake, right? I will sit there, and after I've ate the main part of the croissant, I like all the flaky bits. I just like it, and then I'll scoop them all up with my finger like this and start eating them like this, the flaky bits. So this is what was happening with the muffin cake thing. Like it was crumbling, and then I was like getting like the crumbly bits and like eating them, and then I was getting self conscious again, like thinking, oh, you know, they're probably thinking like, look at this one, like does she not know how to eat properly at the table? Yeah, I was really feeling like this, like, you know, when you go to people's houses, right, and then you got to eat, you know, and then you got to act and show, like, you know, I know how to eat, you know, like a civilized person. Yeah, I was feeling like this, like self conscious, right? But yeah, so this basically the topic, right, of my video. Just how sometimes, yeah, I'm just, because I don't go out much. I don't like meet, you know, mingle, you know, enough and socialize and all of this. I wouldn't say I used to be social, but I used to be out and about a lot more than I am now. But in saying that, I don't mean like nightclubs, bashment, and house blues parties and that sort of thing. Because I've never really been a nightclub person. But I just, you know, basically to cut a long story, I used to be out and about a lot more than I have been, yeah, for you know, for the longest time now. So when I am in like a social setting, especially like with new people that, you know, I don't really know, I've maybe met them once or twice, but you know, I haven't really sat and chatted with them. You know, they're fairly new. Like this is what I mean. You know, I'm just getting like a bit like feeling. I wouldn't call it socially awkward. I wouldn't call it exactly shy. It's just kind of out of practice. Yeah, I'm lacking that. I need to gain that more social lubricants. Yeah, I wouldn't even say I'm socially dry. Yeah, it's just that, you know, self consciousness. Yeah, that's what the word. Yeah, it's like I'm feeling like that little bit like self consciousness. Yeah, so I was feeling like that about stupid crumbs. Yeah, like feeling these people are really looking at me, thinking, does she just not know how to eat? Yeah, she's just like a baby. Yeah, getting crumbs everywhere. Yeah, she doesn't know how to eat without leaving crumbs all over the place. I was really feeling like this. Well, the thing is that I could just keep having this same experience, right? Keeps repeating itself. And what I mean by that is, for example, I've just recently started going back to church as well. So last weekend, yeah, I went to church, and in the because I have an issue with earring backs. So it depends on the style of the earring. But for example, this part here, it's quite bulky, yeah, and so I have to have particular types of backs to make sure that the earring will stay in my ear. Otherwise, with just the one earring back, with just the one of them, sometimes they're tending to drop out of my ears. So I have to double it up like that. Yeah, I have to double it up to make sure they stay in my ears. So I've been having this issue with a pair of earrings that I just recently bought, where the back keeps dropping out. Yeah, so I had to double it up. And so I was getting myself ready in the morning, and I had to double them up like that. And so when I got to church, yeah, in the morning, one of them, it kept dropping out. One of them is totally fine. One of them's all right. And then the other earring, one of the backs, yeah, see, keeps dropping out. There's only one of them there. So I had a few attempts to put it in. But then, so when I got to the church, I was like conscious about it, that it might drop out. Right. And, but both of the earrings had two backs in them. And then, so when I got home after church, I noticed that one of them had dropped out. So when I got home from church, again, this preoccupied my mind. Like the whole day, I was thinking, "Oh no, you know what?" Because what it is, I'll show you. I've been wearing these, excuse me, clips in my hair. I've taken my braids out. So I had these on when I went to church, and one of the ladies, she was like, "Oh, your clips on." I was like, "Oh yeah." She was like, "Oh, flowers." I goes, "Oh no, they're butterflies." She goes, "Oh, they look like flowers to me." And then I looked at it. I was like, "Oh yeah, sorry, you're right. It is flowers. My bad. They are flowers." I'm thinking of my other ones. So when I got home, I noticed that my earring back, the last one, had dropped out. And so the whole day, that's all I was thinking. Oh my gosh. All I was thinking was that my earring back must have dropped out at the church and landed on the carpet somewhere, right? That's what I was thinking. It must have dropped out, yeah, landed on the carpet, yeah, somewhere like that. And somebody must have saw it. And that's why the lady was mentioning my flower accessories in my hair. I was thinking, why? Everywhere I go, something has to, like, I have to like leave some remnant of myself, yeah, which is just like getting embarrassing. Yeah, why I have to do this, right? Anyway, lo and behold, I think I found it at home. I found the earring back at home, and then when I found it, I was like, "Hallelujah!" I didn't drop it. It didn't drop off my ear in church. Yeah, I didn't embarrass myself at church. And the lady, she was just being nice. Yeah, yeah. I just get like self-conscious like this. But then basically, I was explaining to my son that I think I've done this to myself. You know what? I can be domesticated. I don't mind to be at home, really. I don't mind being at home and cooking and cleaning. I don't mind that, you know. But I like variety. I don't like to just be doing that all day, every day. I don't know what woman does like to do that, right? All day, every day. Yeah. And most women, yeah, you stay indoors for too long and you're gonna go mad, right? So it's like, it's not that I'm not a domesticated person. I can be very domestic, but I'm not overly domesticated. You know, and I've said in so many videos, I've spent so long studying. I like to use my brain. You know, I like to read. You know, I like to learn. I'm a very cerebral type of person. You know, so this being indoors all the time, you know, I don't know what people expect. You know, it brings out, when you just have a lot of free time on your hands to sit around, you know, it brings out a lot of my bad habits. And I do have bad habits. You know, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to come in here on live, tell you I don't. I'm perfect, Marcia, and I don't have bad habits. Yeah, obviously I do. And having all this free time on my hands and just sitting around in the house too much, yeah, obviously it brings out all those habits, right? But going back to what I was saying, yeah, basically, yeah, I just keep getting this like self consciousness that I'm feeling like everywhere I go, something like my flipping earring back, or a piece of stupid fluff, or a stupid piece of cotton, or just something, I don't know what the hell, yeah, has to like fall from me, yeah. And it's getting embarrassing or something. And then people are just thinking that I'm not classy, that I'm just like what you call that, crummy, yeah. I'm not a crummy person, but it's giving me this self consciousness, that people are just thinking that I'm like this crummy person. But in saying that, like I said, going to my son's friends' houses, like they got a nice big house. Where I live is tiny. I live in a tiny flat above the shops, and just coming away from there, and a lot of the time coming away from a lot of my son's friends' parents, it just, I do feel like I don't know what's been going on with me over the last 10, 15 years, but I do feel like my life has become very debased. I'm living very much below my standard, and I know that myself. Like, nobody needs to tell me. But then it's like I'm feeling that as well, like internally, which is not good, you know. And this why, I really just, there's a part of me I just really want to get back to. I just really want to get back to me, Marcia, who I know who Marcia Sparks is, because I don't know what's happened, and I don't know who or what people in society and system and social media is trying to turn me into. But I know that this, whatever they're trying to turn me into, is not me. I know who I am. I know about standard and quality of life. But anyway, I digress as usual. So I'm saying that I keep digressing. Yeah. So yeah, this socially awkward, this self-consciousness feeling that I've been feeling. Yeah. So I was explaining to my son, because he's a boy, and sometimes boys, they like to they're just being boys sometimes. Basically, I was explaining to him that about this, what I'm telling you in this video, and that a while ago I drew this picture, right? And I've talked about this picture in one of my other videos, right? With I was thinking about this man, yeah, who's like this perfect looking specimen, very like angular face and angular bodied, like this, and relating it to the Song of Solomon that's in the Bible, and in the picture, yeah, I drew, it's like he's holding like a gun like this, right? And then basically out from the gun barrel shoots, like the way I was picturing it is like a bullet, yeah. And then across the way from him, there's this rabbit, yeah. And the rabbit's like, I was thinking of, that phrase, a deer in the headlights, or like a rabbit in the headlights, yeah. And its eyes are like this, and it's got, rabbits, yeah, because they go rabbits, yeah. They're like boing, 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 boing. You see them when they're hopping along, yeah, they go boing, boing. They go boing, 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 boing. The rabbits, right? So I'm showing the rabbit like this, yeah, like this. So I was drawing the picture, like to say, there's Farmer Giles, yeah, with his gun, and he's going to shoot the rabbit down, and the bullet kind of like, I was just being silly, like I was picturing the bullet like rabbit's backside, right? But then at the same time, I've done the gun barrel like I pictured it as like two big circles like this, and I was thinking of like, like somebody's nose like that, yeah, and then like with the big bullet, something big bogey, like just shooting out a person's nose like this. I was just being silly. I just drew this like I was just being like, sometimes I just, when you're a woman, yeah, you just have like silly thoughts. So I just decided to draw out this silly thought, what I was thinking. I just drew it in picture form, yeah. I was just being silly. But basically, I was explaining to my son that I think because of this thing that I drew, yeah, this picture that I drew, this image, yeah, that I was having, this silly, crazy image I was having, yeah, Farmer Giles with his rifle, pooh, bullet shooting out of his rifle, pooh, yeah, and going to shoot the rabbit up its backside, whatever, yeah, but at the same time, it's like something coming out, shooting out of someone's big nostrils, yeah, whew, that is. just having this thought. I think ever since then, I just my mind, it's like is creating this effect that I'm creating it myself. Yeah, like I'm creating my own issue. That wherever I go, I'm feeling it's like I'm getting this self consciousness. Yeah, of this image. Yeah, in my head of this like one piece of fluff. Yeah, or like my earring barrel. I'm just creating it myself. I'm making this happen myself. And then, what did you say, Omar? I can't remember what you said. But then basically, we just ended up having like philosophical discussion about it, like this transcendental discussion. I was saying to him, yeah, you know, your subconscious mind, right? You can program your own subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind actually does control reality. Yeah, I said you didn't know that, dear. Yeah, that's why I'm telling you that now. That's true. Yeah, that's why I think this is why this keeps occurring. This same repetitive thing keeps recurring with me, and if it's not recurring, I'm just having this paranoia. Yeah, everywhere I go, I'm feeling like I've left like some remnant of myself somewhere like this. Like I'm just having this paranoia about it. But it's because I created it myself. I created my own self paranoia myself because of this stupid picture that I drew. Anyway, that's enough. I've said enough for now, so that's my video for right now. It's my video about how I do not go out anymore and how it's making me so socially awkward. And let me know, are you going through the same thing? Are you experiencing anything very similar? I feel like we've all become much more socially awkward since COVID and this thingy virus. Have a great day, and I will see you later. Peace.